This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. For Americans, happy Memorial Day weekend. Remember what we are supposed to remember. All gave some gave all. A salute to the veterans and anybody who serves. Crypto on holidays. Yes. This twist is they didn't get you after the barbecue. They got you before the barbecue. And you're going to say, oh, yeah, I'll come back and buy the next dip. And then after the barbecue, all the memes will be up 40%. Gotcha. And then Ethereum. Yes. Our Patreon group on Ethereum. 1 week before the bottom with essay and video after video. This is a good time to remind you that this free content is brought to you by my Patreon group. Patreon.com/unhinged crypto. The link is down below in the description. It's in the live chat, and we've got this fantastic QR code. What do we do in Patreon? The 6th Street Crypto Podcast that kept you bullish when the market was going down. Stay bullish. Join Patreon. Coming soon to the Patreon store. The 20 coins that are next. Patreon has a monthly membership option, and it has a store where you can get altcoin plays. The best thing I ever did on PolitiFi, the best thing I ever did, had 13 customers. And to those 13 customers, I salute you. Okay, they had upside targets. One of them is already there and is probably going to blow through it. The market cap expansion in certain coins, they were catalysts over the weekend. And that report still has not only upside targets, okay, but it also has Fed thinking, right? I'm thinking buy CPI, not investment advice. A dovish Fed is coming. It's coming. So congratulations to the people who bought that report, and the political tokens may not be done. One of them is being restructured, just so you know. They're coming out with version 2. Keep your fingers crossed that team can get that done. Those tokens are not done. All kinds of catalysts over the weekend, not only for this market with people talking Ethereum, but for those tokens and other tokens as well. This is not only the market update, but this is the consensus rally. Markets love symmetry. In 2022, market was going down ahead of the conference. 2024, the market's going up ahead of the conference. That conference lasts 4 days. 4 days. 4 up days. And can you imagine what's going to go on? And ironically, they were selling this whole thing Sunday night before it all turned around. So if you think people are bullish now with, let's just say people who are going to have an event after October, they're racing to say positive things about crypto. And then you're going to go to the conference and they're going to be racing to say positive things about Ethereum and all the other big coins. Because you know what? They all missed Ethereum. And don't forget, the Bitcoin ETF has not been purchased by big funds. Hedge funds have got it all. Why do hedge funds hoover everything up early? Because they're going to sell it to plain vanilla mutual funds, state funds, sovereign funds. So that's a Bitcoin bid. Not to mention the fact that I don't even know if they have enough Bitcoin to back what they have now. So you're going to have billions flowing into the Ethereum ETF, and Ethereum could go up all during the month of June, and Bitcoin could have one lurch and then come off. So, I mean, that is the crux of the market update. Naturally, we want you to stick around, hit the like button. I appreciate everybody. Baby Whale left 2 comments last time. Comment on that stream. Hit the like button. It helps move it. Let's move the live stream. Because you know what, folks? We've been nailing this. Right? What's the most important thing in crypto? Nail the bottoms. Sometimes it's good to get the top, but the most important thing is the bottoms. And this thing in Ethereum has only just started. Pepe is telling you that, among other things. So let's take a moment to welcome who is joining us on Memorial Day. T-Bone, a guy who had those coins. I talked about that in that report. before the report. Right on, brother. Jappy, Cat D is here. Sarah, Crypto Stacker from Southern California. Welcome. Okay. Philip, thanks to the vets. Neff is here. Welcome. Tex Media. Hello. Art. Back from holiday in Greece. Bubba is here. Patriot Caveman. I'd buy that for $1, like in the holiday pump. Frankie coming to us from Twitter. Okay. Frankie says, what do you make of insiders selling in the stock market? The stock market has given you all the gains it's going to give you. If Stan Druckenmiller sold NVIDIA, the stock market is priced for perfection. Could the stock market go down? Maybe. Who cares? If it did, it'd give us another golden dip in crypto. This the whole buy CPI. It was DCA in May. Bang. That worked out. Patreon, right? And then it's buy CPI. So if you're going to get out of equities, I got news for you, folks. There's 2 equities that people have to own. Really? Ready? The Bitcoin ETF and the Ethereum ETF. And the only other 3 stocks I'd add to that are the crypto stocks. Again, not investment advice. Coinbase, Marathon Digital, T-Bone, Marathon Digital, Riot Blockchain, Galaxy Digital. Oh my God. Galaxy Digital stock with Novogratz talking at consensus. Holy cow. Somebody put a seatbelt on my chair as I'm like fist pumping at this place. Good God. Aiken is here with the notorious love. Crossing 12K subscriptions. Thank you to all those watching live. Thank you to all those watching short videos. And by the way, if you're watching short videos, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you want to see. Appreciate that. Aiken thinks we're going to 25K. Brother, we're going to 50 by the end of the year. But 25, I will take. Ultima is here. Somerset, England. Welcome to our friends in the UK. By the way, our top audience underneath New York City. Appreciate our friends over in the UK. My grandmother was from Manchester. Reverend Flashback, Huckleberry Native, the OGs, Fatherback, Catharjo, right? Tex Media. Thank you for the content. You're welcome, sir. Okay, banging into the news. Okay, here's the news. Here's Pepe. There is resistance at 1697. I'm tempted to take profits in cats and move to dogs like Bonk. And I haven't even gotten to Doge. Like I said, in Doge and real world assets and DeFi. How many chances is the market going to give you? How many chances? Before this is just go, 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 go. Do not discount. Do not discount. Bitcoin up on ETF FOMO. Bitcoin down in June with everything else smoking. Don't laugh. It could happen. Don't laugh. You know, CPI may be a disturbance. That'll be the last disturbance on inflation before we talk about, you know, let's just say Fed rate cuts and keep it simple. A reminder, they got this exchange traded products, ETFs, things that are like ETFs. They got them going in the United States. Hong Kong had the Ethereum ETF before everyone else did. No, nothing burger, right? Probably nothing. Wrong. They got it in the US, they got it in Asia, they got it in Europe, and they got catalysts for everything. You're not going to start cutting rates in Europe, right? They're overdue to cut rates in Europe because that economy, a lot of those countries are in borderline recessions already. We're the only country reporting higher than expected inflation. Now, you can discuss why that is. I could discuss it on and on, but not on this show. You got to get in Patreon to get the real deal about why that is. They're going to start cutting rates in Europe. Bitcoin, Ethereum ETF. Plus, that's why the English are, you know, in a big hurry to launch related products. Okay. My enemy's enemy is my friend. Okay. First, they did Edward. No, first they did Bitcoin. This is the people that have the event after October. First, they were talking about Bitcoin-backed treasuries. Then they were talking about Edward. Then they were talking about Julian. Then they were talking about Ross. Then they were talking about okay with self-custody. Privacy could be next. See Zcash? I got tickets for a Zcash party. Oh my God. Zcash, not investment advice, right? Privacy is next. These guys who, with the event in November, they got to one-up each other, right? And the big man is going to adopt whatever the little man says, right? So they have to one-up each other, and the big man that gets all the attention has to absorb it all and pump it all out. You could have, and remember, some of these guys, the big guy did ETFs in a bear market. So either one of these guys, you don't have to like them, either one of them, but the race to give you crypto news headlines. Remember, with Gary, you would have negative news flow, which the market bought anyway. Now you got positive news flow. News flow is very important in capital markets, right? If you have a one-off event, it's like, oh, okay, it's a one-off event. But if there's news flow, in other words, it just keeps coming. The guys in October, right, they keep coming. The ETF guys, they keep coming. Okay, a certain party had a chance to nominate a candidate, and they pick somebody, okay, that thinks this. I can't even say it. Crazy. They missed an opportunity. Okay. This is about Free Ross. Free Ross. Okay. Last night, they pledged. Okay. This guy got in trouble. Okay. You know that when law and order guys are looking to pardon guys who got in trouble, the crypto positivity trade is on. Okay. Major banks are renting out taxpayer bailouts to hedge funds. Okay. So the game is afoot on the next shoe to drop in financial markets. Trader nets $2.7 million in 3 days on a coin that I wrote a report about in Patreon store, which is still relevant. Ron Paul, kind of a famous I told you so guy about all the stuff that's going on now. Yeah, he said the country changed in 1963. Gann believes in a 56-year cycle. That would go back to 1968. I'm going to have to leave it up to you to look up what happened in 1968. Could be the fall of the father and the rise of the son. Again, you don't have to like any of these guys. You don't have to like the tokens, but crypto news flow. This guy from the 60s whose son is now around, a crypto presentation at Consensus, a VIP dinner the night before, and a fireside chat. Crypto, 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 with the big man having to follow. And don't forget the debates. Can you imagine crypto on national television? Okay, Ron Paul, again, DXY has to go lower. The only way out of a problem with borrowing too much money is to have the currency go down. It can be organic. It can be orderly. It doesn't have to be, oh my God. Imagine what Ethereum does when the greenback or DXY goes down. Silver and gold go up, which is fertile ground for ETH. I keep saying it. And you know what, folks? I'm going to continue to say it. I told Patreon about this 10 days before this whole ETH ETF started. The macro and the micro. The micro is the ETF, and everyone has to buy it. And the macro case for Ethereum is so unbelievable. It could take the entire market with it. Right now, it's taking real-world assets. You want to dip in real-world assets? Yeah, it was in April. You know, that is a Momo trade the way DeFi was in 2020. And I still think DeFi, Solana staking, ETH staking, oh my God. There's small cap and large caps in that sector. And that may be just go, go, go. Okay, on the geopolitical front, there is, of course, we have to acknowledge the risks to the view. That's what professional analysts do when they write a report. They always say risks to the view. Okay, well, there's a lot of posturing going on in Asia, right? And, you know, we are pushing our luck with a leader of a huge country in Eastern Europe. Not a good idea. Okay, these things can happen. And unless it turns insane in June, it's an opportunity. I mean, you get dips on things like inflation, geopolitics. I mean, how long have those dips lasted? I mean, short of something that's just, you know, beyond our imagination, what does it pay to do on these events? Because they last shorter and shorter and shorter amounts of time, honestly, right? Honestly. Hey now, Argentina meets with El Salvador to discuss the adoption of Bitcoin. So the guy on the left is a superstar. The guy on the right is definitely on his way to being a superstar, if not already. How many people do you think are going to follow him? So sovereign and state and federal wealth funds, right? Pension funds, sovereigns, not just sovereign wealth funds, but the actual governments themselves. Who's the seller who's going to sell to all these people? El Salvador is buying 1 Bitcoin a day. Are they selling? That's right. You know, Bitcoin goes down in June. He's like, oh, wow, good. They're giving me an extra month before this thing launches into outer space. I mean, do these guys look bearish to you? I mean, do they look like, I mean, if there is a dip, right? Do these guys look like they're going to be bothered with that? You know, these guys are the most interesting men in the world. Okay, so a big TA thread here. Not going to go into it. It thinks the bull run lasts another year and a half. So if you follow the traditional crypto cycle, after the halving, you start an alt season, which people have not. By the way, no one's talking about that, right? Like, where's my post-Bitcoin halving alt season? Well, how about now? How about they do an alt season during consensus? And as Crypto Crazy says, boom. Boom. Okay. T-Bone is asking, what are the odds of a certain law getting to the desk of somebody in a white dwelling? People, there's a race. There's a race to do anything that gets the vote of people between ages of 35 and 50 who are watching this show, not to mention young people who are involved. So you want an alt season? How about an alt season that lasts through consensus? There's a dip in June in Bitcoin. Maybe it's because people dump Bitcoin temporarily for ETH and alts. It can happen. Get involved, right? If there's a dip in June, I mean, you can take profits after consensus and reevaluate. But you miss this. I'm telling you, people go to the barbecue and the beach today. You watch what happens. You watch what happens. You watch each at 4,100 by the end of today. Don't laugh. Okay, don't laugh. Okay, those are our guys. The cycle lasts longer than you think. Now, Solana and XRP could be the next candidate for ETFs. Undoubtedly, you're going to have that kind of talk at consensus. Now, JP Morgan thinks that they're not going to approve Solana, right? And they're probably right. You know, they got egg all over their face. They don't need more egg on their face. They did Ethereum hoping that they could just ride off into the sunset and everyone would leave them alone. And by the way, kudos to the boys over at the House of Morgan. It's where I had my first job at Wall Street. God, that was incredible back in the day. That's what they used to call it. There was a book that came out called The House of Morgan. It was like, I don't know. It was like a revered place on Wall Street in the 90s. These guys, when everybody was all hot to trot from Bitcoin, were saying Ethereum was going to be the trade of the year. And everyone was like, whatever. These guys could be right. Everyone's like, hey, you're focused on Solana ETF, which is nice, right? Don't get me wrong. Solana's going to do okay. But don't underestimate what Ethereum could do because that trade hasn't even started yet. I got the charts. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Ethereum outperforms the market. Pressing 3,900. People, when you see the charts on 3,900, here's what you're going to have. You're going to have a rare case of a monthly level making or having an impact on tactical decisions, right? So instead of waiting for the month-end close, they're probably going to use that 3,900 level as a pivot now, because ETH's been doing a dance around that level in various ways. We'll go into it. 3,900 has tactical implications. Tactical implications. Ethereum ETF listing. Approval could see billions pouring into restaking protocols. Solana staking, Solana DeFi, ETH DeFi. What happens if they get DeFi going on Bitcoin? What happens if the whole staking, restaking game gets going? What happens if everyone stakes ETH and then pulls out, you know, if you can stake ETH and then still get your hands on it and use it? I know, very 2022, but what happens if they get after these altcoins and these memes? Because right now, all these memes are Bonk, Whiff, they're 4x levered Solana. That's all they are. Okay, Mog, Pepe, 4x levered ETH. This is just what they are on paper. No one's buying them because they like animals. They're buying them because they're like levered versions of Ethereum or Solana. Doge is next. We'll find the chart. Okay. Okay. Let us welcome. Let us see who else is here. Okay. Forget About It is in the house. Trisha Elliott says on Twitter, do I DCA? Trisha has held Zcash since I talked about it at Token Metrics. And believe it or not, it was at the same price. I don't know, man. That Zcash meetup where they're going to talk about that new wallet that they have. People, privacy has to be next, right? Who got persecuted? The guy from, I don't know, let's call it Extreme Weather Cash. Got, you know, they just put him in, you know, put him behind bars. You know, what about privacy? What if that's what RFK talks about, right? In other words, they got to keep finding, they got to keep one-upping each other. You know, I'm going to attach this microphone to my iPhone. Whoops, we do not want to be looking at me. I'm going to take this and attach it to an iPhone, and I'm going to stick it in everyone's face to tell me all the great things about Zcash. And don't doubt that there's a privacy ETF coming from Grayscale. Don't doubt it. I mean, I know it's a privacy coin, so it may not make sense to put it in an ETF, but why not? Right? I mean, if Litecoin's in an ETF, what are you going to put in there? You're going to put Litecoin, Zcash, and one other coin? Why not? I mean, if you don't think you can't have a parabolic move, I mean, these privacy coins, they have gotten destroyed. I mean, there's privacy layer 2s, right? You know, again, we're going to be going through all this in Patreon. I got 25 new coins queued up for the Patreon store. They missed the after October coin report. That's very relevant still. And then there's a new one coming out. The BCS top 20 for the rest of this cycle. Okay. Aiken is all over Ondo. People, Ondo could go top 5. You think BlackRock is playing around? Do you think BlackRock is, you know, like the race to dominate? So BlackRock dominates the Bitcoin ETF. Now, who's going to dominate the Ethereum ETF? You think the other 9 players are going to sit around and go, yeah, let's let BlackRock, let's let them eat our lunch? No way. The case for more ETFs is if there's 9 players, they may keep releasing ETFs until one or the other finds a niche. You ever think about that? 9 players are going to sit around. Franklin Templeton, your grandpa's mutual fund company, is going to be at consensus. Crypto Hoop says Chainlink is looking good. Hey, people, don't forget, Chainlink led the first part of this rally. Chainlink was going up for 2 months before it happened. Then Solana went, then Rune went, then the whole market went. Right? It was Chainlink, Solana, cross-chain DeFi. I mean, who's talking about cross-chain? Has anybody mentioned it? I was like, oh, look, real-world assets are going. Oh, look, cross-chain's going. Oh, look, levered ETH and levered Solana memes are going. His whole market could go. Whole market could go. Okay, Chuck is asking about Peaches on Base. I have not looked at it, but as soon as ETH goes to 4,700, like the wake up that's going to happen in Base is going to be absolutely, absolutely unbelievable. It's going to be unbelievable. Okay, this is your market update PowerPoint. Remember, this is not investment advice. Okay, Pepe at resistance tactically. Big picture, Pepe weekly, No sign of a top. None. You could have 5 more up weeks in Pepe. Just a question of how big the weeks are. It's levered ETH available on centralized exchanges. Like retail's going to love it. So there's a case for resistance in Pepe. There's also a case to say, who cares about resistance? Who cares? Right? Just not going to lie. Right? Now, I'm not necessarily into like dogs, cats, frogs on a regular, but if they're buying levered ETH and levered Solana, they're eventually going to go after ETH and Solana, and then they're going to go after everything. Like the spec in any rally, stocks, crypto, the highly speculative stuff, junk or not junk, valued properly or not valued properly, that stuff always goes first. You have meme coins up 15% on Memorial Day, like early afternoon. Where is this going to be at night? Where is this going to be when Asia comes in and the Americans are like, you know, sleeping, watching baseball? Asia's going to come in and go, oh my God, we got to bid it up before the New York guys come in tomorrow morning and go, okay, now we have to FOMO in for the ETF. Oh my God. Bonk, no sign of a top. If anything, the final dip was yesterday and you could have 2 up weeks. I mean, this hasn't really done much. This could be next. Bitcoin. You know, this 4 down here means this decline was the conclusion of a 4 wave, and you could have a final 5 wave. Now, if you don't know what that is, a 5 wave is very emotional. So you could have a very emotional run up in Bitcoin as it follows Ethereum. Bitcoin may come off, right? You may have a big, you know, Bitcoin, who knows? Bitcoin could print 80. You could have a very emotional run up, then Bitcoin comes off and the rest of the market just flies. Meanwhile, it's going to get emotional in Bitcoin, by the way. It's emotional in memes. It's emotional in ETH. Pound the table, pound the table, pound the table. Fade this, miss this. I mean, this could be a year. This could be a year in a week, right? This whole BS decline on all these BS catalysts in April, right? All the tourists exited crypto. Guess what? They're all going to come back in. Now, that's why they may all come back in at the top and you may do a little dip in June. Who cares? Who cares? I mean, unless it's catastrophic. I mean, and even if it is catastrophic, hey, the bigger the dip, the bigger the recovery. I mean, this is what we've learned. But, you know, this consensus rally, I mean, there's just, I mean, Cathie Wood, Novogratz, I keep saying it. I keep saying it. I keep saying it. And you know what? This is, I mean, I learned this from a boss at Goldman. Right? It goes down, you stay bullish. It bottoms, you get giga bullish. It goes up, you pound the table. Tony P was his name. He's still there, and he's the man. He's the man. With that strategy, writing a little commentary in Bloomberg, you know, 3-4 times a week. The original, kind of like the original market update in a way. Ethereum monthly. 39.35. Okay. So this 13 signal was sell in May and go away right before the FTX mess, right? Now, this dotted line is essentially where the bear market began. So as a public service announcement, this is a reminder that there is no bull market in ETH yet. All it's done is unwind the bear market that was filled with artificial selling from a system-wide leverage liquidation. So 2022, men behaving badly. Men and women behaving badly. Whoops, market goes down. Then market goes, okay, let's unwind that. And let's start over. Let's start over. So we've unwound a massive levered liquidation, and here we are, 3,900 ETH. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? They take this level out. Look, first they pulled up short, right? They were like, oh, I'm afraid of that level. Then they weren't afraid. They went through and then it came back down. Then they smacked it. Ouch. Right? I mean, could this have been any more painful? First, they're like, yeah, it's going to go. Yeah, it's going. Oh, God, no, it's not. Now it's like, oh, it's going. Oh, no, I can't. I'm too scared to buy it. This is what bull markets do. That is the bull market playbook. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, we're going. Oh, my God, it's down. It's going down forever. Oh, wow, it's up. Now I can't buy it. I'm too scared because I'm afraid of what happened the last 3 times. Stop being afraid. Junk that. Yeah, you got to have a stop. Yeah, you have to protect yourself. Yeah, you have to be smart, but they take out 39.35. This monthly level is going to have a tactical impact. And if they start going through 4,000, like it's not there, remember, 39.35 is the resistance. And everyone's going to go, well, 4K is the even number. Did 4Ks work? I'm sorry. Did even numbers work on the way up in Bitcoin? Let me tell you something. They did not. They didn't. Oh, it's at 50. Who cares? Oh, it's at 60. Yeah, they sat at 60 and it went straight up. And they went through 70. Even numbers that everyone is wound up about don't matter, right? If 39.30, if they take out 3,900 in ETH, they're going to take out 4,000. And they could do it in dramatic fashion. ETH weekly. Okay, so here were the topping signals in April. Should have paid more attention to that. They smacked it for 6 weeks. They left ETH at 3,000 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. 6 weeks, you could have bought ETH at 3,000. That's the equivalent of them leaving Bitcoin below 20K for 6 months before the cycle started. And no one was interested. No one was interested in ETH. Want to know how many people listen to me on ETH? The people in Patreon. Okay? I'd like to put a 0 on the number of people who are listening to me in Patreon. Because it's like ETH, 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 ETH. This could be when ETH moves. Do you see this? This isn't even 2021. I mean, ETH went from 2,000 to 4,000 in like a matter of weeks. That's without the ETF. And ETH has done similar things in the past. I mean, look at this. This is ETH monthly. Okay, there's a lot of liquidity in the system back then. But I mean, yeah, okay, once ETH starts going up, I mean, you had one wild month and one dip, and that was it. It was like a year straight up. When ETH goes, like either ETH is doing this in the bottom left, like nothing, going sideways, boring you to death, and then boom. You don't know how many live streams I did at one of my prior jobs where I was like, ETH, 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 ETH. That, by the way, that was at 300 something. ETH, 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 ETH. Every single Sunday for like months. Didn't care. Boom. 4,000. 10x in ETH. 10x in ETH. By the way, these topping signals, yeah, they worked for a little. This whole thing over here on a weekly basis, it's just starting. You could have nine up weeks in ETH. 9. So you could have Bitcoin going down in June and ETH going up. Seriously, I'm not kidding. That could happen. You could have an emotional blow off top in Bitcoin. Bitcoin comes off and ETH goes up. ETH on a daily chart, right? 3,700 was the key level. Look at all this time you had down here at 3,000. They dropped it. They brought it back. They dropped it again. Up, they gave up. You had 3 give up trades. And this is true in a lot of the base coins. Aero, Degen, right? It was give up, give up, give up, give up. Some of them had 4 give up trades before they turned. Everyone gave up on this. Okay, ETH on a 4-hour chart. You got some tactical warning signals. The blow off top level, possibly for today or tonight, is 4150. So to me, it feels like 4150 minimum at a tactical level if they take out 3930. Okay, Degen, okay, an important base altcoin. All right, taking out some resistance here on a moving average. There are some topping signals despite the move up. Now, Degen took it on the chin on the way down. So it's kind of the poster boy for the base debacle. Okay, if there are topping signals here and base Degen just pauses and goes back up, again, that's a positive sign for potentially a base alt season because this thing really got hurt. This is connected to social media. Social media, freedom of is very important. Solana versus ETH. Okay, so I'm just talking about ETH. Okay, this is support in Solana versus ETH. Now, I'm not going to be unhappy if Solana breaks down because ETH goes up, but there is a possibility that Solana could turn around and actually catch up and follow ETH. Right? I mean, Pepe could go, ETH could go, and Solana could follow. I mean, nobody says there's something wrong with Solana. Nothing. Matter of fact, Solana, if ETH has to go inside of an ETF, the whole Solana staking game could be huge. Solana DeFi? Who's talking about Solana DeFi? No one's talking about Bonk, and no one's talking about Solana DeFi. And I haven't heard anybody talking about the Solana phone. You got to be kidding me. It's just nothing but positive catalysts about crypto headed into this giant conference. And again, CPI in June, whatever. Geopolitical crisis, okay, fine. The presidential candidates will talk about whatever they're going to talk about, and then they'll start talking about crypto again. Solana, 172 is the key resistance. Okay, you want to take it up to 172, it'll go to 184. I mean, if Solana follows ETH, you have alt season until further notice. Okay, now memes. MOG at resistance. So as you can see, levered ETH went straight up. Now, if MOG takes this out, because Pepe took out an equivalent level, okay. Feels like the Solana memes are better at the moment. Like I want to do ETH itself and maybe Solana and the Solana memes. And that's the market update. Okay. Let's see who else we got. Okay. Indie Rock likes CDE. He thinks the target for Bitcoin is 88K. Interesting. Okay. Have I looked at Wojak? No. So let's check it out. Let's go to some live TA. Okay. Wild volatility. Okay. I think with all of these memes, you're gonna be drawing hidden pivot analysis. I think. Or it's going to be the Fibonacci extension work. Like in Pepe, you're at Fibonacci extension already, meaning you're kind of off the chart. But as you can see, this is the beauty of hidden pivot, right? Everyone thinks it's up and they can't buy it, right? But this thing is at a level where it's like above support 121.70, just using the small numbers. And it's actually not at resistance. It's actually at support, even though it's a higher level and near the all-time high. Again, the upside potential in some of these things is incredible. And of course, naturally, the pain trade is that all the hedge funds missed it. All the hedge funds missed it. So I'm hearing there's a lag in the audio. Okay, if anybody's hearing a lag in the audio, please let us know. Okay, there's LG I'm seeing popping up. Okay, not seeing that in TradingView. Channel says this is like a pain trade. It is. It absolutely is. Okay, Diane is reminding you to hit the like button. Sosef is here from Frankfurt, Germany. Okay, let's go and check out Peaches. Okay, I'm not sure I got the right Peaches here. Maybe drop the comment down below. Doesn't look like I got a lot of liquidity here. But again, all of these meme coins, they may get after it. Okay, here comes the based Peaches chart. I got the right chart now. Now, this is incredibly common where you've got the 62% retracement, like right here. Oh, do you know how many coins there are in this market? And like everyone's like, oh God, I missed it. People, there are some stuff here that has not even moved. Has not even moved. There's a whole section of this market sitting below the 62% retracement line, just like you had a whole section of the market in real world assets that never moved. They never moved. I mean, they never went down when there was a down market, right? I mean, if you go back to TradingView and you start looking at real world assets, which by the way, there is a real world assets and DeFi, and DeFi report, which is still relevant in the Patreon store. It's like, right? And we're coming out with all new stuff. We're also coming out with all new stuff, but the old stuff about like, hey, real world assets, how do I get involved? I mean, in this, right, in Ondo, so first you had a diamond, right? You had an unbelievable breakout. Like it doesn't get this breakout in Ondo right here to just give you the short version. It doesn't get any more bullish than that when you're having a diamond. It's the most bullish diamond breakout I've ever seen. So if Ondo went from here to here, the diamond could be the flag that flies in the middle, and you could have Ondo at $2, and you could have Ondo at top 5, as far as I'm concerned. Chainlink was top 5 in 2020. What's going to be the top 5 altcoin that comes out of nowhere? I mean, you think there's going to be a shortage of catalysts? Okay, again, OM never went down. I mean, I don't necessarily know like what this is in OM, right? But these guys at Mantra are going to be at consensus. There's people borrowing money against tokenized treasury bills. Hasn't gone up. Hasn't moved. Okay, yeah, it went up a lot. Okay, Dusk. Dusk was consolidating. Again, this is classic. You get a coin. I'm sure the AI coins look like this. You consolidate below the 62% retracement. You get everybody out, and then boom. Okay, here's what the boom looks like on an 89-minute chart. Everyone's like, oh, you know, I can't buy it. And then, okay. So you got resistance in Dusk at 42 cents. That's the good news. Because if you want to buy a dip, you're gonna get one. And this could have been the dip. Maybe this was the dip as the whole rest of the market catches up. Doge, you can't forget this. Kind of hard to believe that this is not moving more. Okay. So there is a head and shoulders bottom in Doge. And you've also got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. That's a Livermore accumulation cone. This is Doge 89 minutes. I mean, when this goes, this is just going to go. Like the like levered, the ETH levered memes are moving. But I mean, if you go to this, I mean, you got an accumulation cone. You got multiple kinds of head and shoulders. I mean, in many ways, the setup for this long-term, how much better can it get? How much better can it get? Hopefully the audio is catching up. I got 100 messages in the chat. Okay, somebody, Sash is looking at Degen on base. Okay, I can pull up a Degen chart here that doesn't have DeMark on it. So as you can see with Degen, how massive this down move was. Massive up move, massive down move. Okay, 62% retracement. I would imagine they're still kind of far away. They are. Oh, no, they're not. They're right here. So if it doesn't stop, if it goes through the 62% retracement around 0.026, they ignore the DeMark topping signals and they go through 62% here, it's on. They gave up in Degen. Like if you want to know what people giving up looks like, this is what people giving up looks like. Down only again, new low, down only, back to that low, and then after a rally, down only again. Who's left long in this? You know what the answer to that is? Nobody. And if this thing, which had a very hard time, if this thing can actually recover, because let's face it, when you have moves like this, you have bag holders. You have people that got involved up here and got hosed. 25 new coins for what's next coming to the store, and everything that we've published on DeFi and RWA, some of those coins are going to be in the new report, but that report is still unbelievably relevant, as is the one on politics. People, we're talking about $12, $27, $35. Holy cow. We're talking about the whole cycle. Not to mention the membership's $15, and those guys are getting 4 or 5 charts a night. A night. Come on over. We would love to have you. Seriously. Now, I did Rari. Okay, NFTs. Boy, anyone talking about ETH NFTs? NFTs, anyone? Seriously, who's talking about NFTs? Nobody. Nobody's talking about NFTs on ETH. Think that can't get started? Certainly can. It certainly can. Rari, an NFT play, consolidating just below the 62% retracement. Is there a reason why this can't break out? None. There is absolutely no reason why this can't break out. Because what they do, this was very 2021, you would consolidate below a fib number or a Fibonacci extension number and then just absolutely blow through it. Zcash. 3-day chart. A bullish downward sloping wedge. A bullish downward sloping wedge is bullish because it's like taking a basketball, holding the basketball underwater, a fully inflated basketball at the pool or football for those in Europe. You push it down underneath the water and then you let go and it pops to the surface and beyond. That's what that bullish downward sloping wedge is. And oh, by the way, like, you know, shout out to Trisha. Yeah, I started talking about Zcash in the 20s back in 2022. Still there. Do you have any idea what happens to basically, you know, an Edward, who they're talking about pardoning, signed this white paper and has been critical of Bitcoin developers because nobody's talked about privacy. Privacy is not just for pirates. It's not. It's not. Okay, you know, let's go to, you know, you want to talk about DeFi? Let's talk about DeFi. Let's talk about AERO. Okay, this was something like off the cuff I drew in AERO, like a roadmap, and it was way back here. It's like, give up, give up, give up. And then all of a sudden, this thing turns around. Like, what do you think is going to happen when people discover base, and how long is that going to take? I mean, this coin was at $0, then it went to $2. Everyone loved it at $2. No one wanted it at $1. And it's at $1.20. You telling me this thing can't go make a new high? This could be like the Uniswap of base. There is no base token. This is the DEX mechanism for base. I mean, what's going to happen on base when people figure out you can trade alts and ETH is at 4,700? So you grab some ETH at 3,800, ETH goes to 5,000. Then everyone's going into the base network with like all this purchasing power. What do you think is going to happen? I can tell you what happened in 2020. You had just insane stuff. Jashim is asking if I believe in the XRP ETF. No. I believe in Ripple going public. Okay. And then getting contracts with either sovereigns or banks to develop payment networks. Luis, turbo for the win. Bart saying Ponke did a Livermore code. Ponke, Harambe, Giga, I was looking at, not investment advice. I mean, if we're going here, we're going, right? The speculative juices are fired up. Again, you know, this is up only until further notice. This is probably up only on some of this stuff until Solana takes out 240. Because everyone is now too scared to buy it. And when everyone's brave enough to buy it, that'll probably be it. The one thing I'll just tell you about Ponke is that this thing went up because the consolidation was square, not a triangle. Let me see what Giga looks like, because that's an example of a square consolidation. Again, not advice in any way. Let's just get clear about that. Okay, if it takes off, great, but so you had the square down here, and this is not as square as I would like it to be. I'm just looking for anything square on these meme coins. Maybe. They did a wonderful job of blowing everybody out down here. Okay, arc block. Continuing with live TA. Again, don't forget, in Patreon, we have a live chat. Okay, so that is live TA all day, every day. Okay, let me just type in arc block. Okay. Okay, so arc block right here, 89-minute chart. If I've got the right arc, there are so many coins, assuming I've got the right coin, but even if I don't, these formations are everywhere. This is ARC USDC, 89-minute. Okay. There are so many coins that have stuff like this going on. Again, there's a lot of what they call dispersion. So every altcoin is not moving at the same time. So you may have one group of coins go, you may have another group of coins go, then you may have a broad market correction, and then you may start all over again with ETH and Bitcoin leading out of the summer. I mean, again, imagine these debates for these guys in November pounding the table. Okay, Crypto Stacker says, don't forget first responders. Don't forget people who serve. Don't forget the people who serve you. Don't forget the people who gave all to serve you, regardless of what you think about the conflicts that they were in. My middle name is Bryant, after Master Sergeant Charles Bryant, who landed at Normandy and wound up a military attaché to the U.S. Embassy in a large European country. And he actually ran into their intelligence service out there. So remember those who serve you. Remember, unrelated, I serve you as your navigator, your sonar operator, so you can be the captain of your portfolio. The Patreon link down below. By the way, as a measure of gratitude, I want to take a moment to thank the existing Patreon members for their support. Okay? The more support I get, the better the content. The better the content, the more money we make. Join Patreon. Get specialized analysis. We'll see you tomorrow.